Wonderful. So I'm going to go ahead and get us started. I think we'll see a few more people joining in the next couple of minutes as we get started here. But we're just about 1 or 2 minutes after the hour, so we're gonna get the show on the road. My name is Heather Grant. I'm one of the community admins here at the Maintenance Community by Upkeep. Thank you so much for joining today. If you are not already a member of the Maintenance Community Slack group, we would love to have you join us. We will add the link on how to sign up shortly in the chat. Today with us, we have Ricky Smith. Ricky Smith is our maintenance expert in residence at the Maintenance Community Slack, meaning that he puts on one webinar each week, just like this one, for all of our members. He is also available online in the Slack community to answer any questions live. So if there is anyone else you know who would benefit from some more of Ricky's expertise, please feel free to send them the invitation to the Slack community as well. The recording from today's session will be posted tomorrow along with the slides that you're seeing here in the Maintenance Community Slack. So make sure you join as a member so you can have access to that as well. The last piece of housekeeping for today before we get started, you will notice that your cameras and microphones are not turned on. So what you'll do if you want to answer any questions that Ricky asks to you or ask any questions of Ricky along the way, you'll just use that chat feature on the side where you're all saying hello now. Let us know if there's anything else going wrong, if there's a screen issue, a volume issue, anything else throughout the presentation. We'll have some time at the end of the presentation for questions, but again, please feel free to submit questions all throughout the presentation. And I think that's all from me. I'll turn it over to you, Ricky, to talk about the SMRP body of knowledge.
All right, thank you very much. Welcome, everyone. Let's talk about today about understanding, what is the SMRP body of knowledge, especially if you're thinking about taking the CMRP exam, because it's important to understand the SMRP body of knowledge. But understand, we're just here for a 30 to 45, maybe an hour long session. So I'm going to give you the best I can to help you, during this 1 hour. And I'm going to also show you where some other resources are to help you if you decide to take the CMRP. So today, understanding the body of knowledge, these are other sessions. February 9th, preparing for the maintenance certifications, tips and tricks. Then everything you want to know about proactive maintenance storeroom, and then writing repeatable, corrective, and preventive maintenance procedures. Those are the ones I'm actually presenting. So if you're interested in them, you go online and register for them now. Well, not now, but you can download these slides at my website. I know, you're talking about, giving them to you, so you can get them from her, or you can download them on my website. Either way, I just want to say I appreciate Upkeep sponsoring these webinars every week, because it's important, I think, to give information out to people without charging them numbers, charging them money or whatever for it. So it's important. All right. So thanks to Upkeep for hosting. I just ask you to take a test drive today on their CMMS. We appreciate their assistance on these webinars at no charge. The Maintenance Community Group, which is part of the Upkeep, is a space for all of us in the maintenance and reliability community. Basically it's a digital break room, if you will. They host regular webinars like this one, conversation with maintenance experts. And then, there's in their organization is about 100 people worldwide that the broad knowledge around. I'd recommend you join the Slack group. And this Slack is, I'm on it every day, not all day, but I could pick up if you got questions or whatever. And there's a lot of great professionals on there that can help you with questions that you have on anything in maintenance, reliability, engineering, or whatever. There's people on there. And Heather's going to text you this link so you can register for it. Okay. So what is the SMRP body of knowledge? So the SMRP body of knowledge is a roadmap to world-class performance in maintenance, reliability, and physical asset management. The SMRP body of knowledge was designed to assist any maintenance organization and manage maintenance and reliability in any organization. Now, you notice I've got the CMRP roadmap to the right. You can download this for free online if you just Google SMRP, or just put SMRP CMRP roadmap. It'll come up. There's the link to it at the bottom. So there are 5 pillars of the SMRP body of knowledge. It's the roadmap to world-class performance, and it was designed for that. It was designed to help companies saying, I want to get to world-class performance. So how do you get there? And that's what this came about, was this whole thing. One of the founding members, John Day, he was my mentor for many years and still is to this day. He had the first plant in the world ever certified to have world-class maintenance. We had the multi-billion-dollar plant, aluminum smelter. We had planning and scheduling. We had everything you can imagine, including maintenance engineering. Things went very well. And he not only expected, but he demanded it. But he was one of the founding members of SMRP. And that's why we're here. Each pillar details an area of maintenance, reliability, and physical asset management that practitioners and professionals should be proficient in to improve their career. So it's all about improving your career. The body of knowledge forms the framework for all SMRP educational offerings and programs. In other words, the body of knowledge is not just for the CMRP, but the CMRT and the Certified Asset Management. So knowledge part of it. These are the certifications at CMRP, CMRT, CAMA. So let's talk about the CMRP and CMRT certification. So the Certified Maintenance and Reliability Professional Program is a leading credential for certified knowledge, skills, and abilities of maintenance, reliability, and physical asset management professionals. I have been a CMRP since 2007. So it's been a while. 2004. The CMRP is the only certification program of its kind accredited by the American National Standards Institute, or ANSI, which follows the globally recognized ISO standards for its accreditation purposes. So it's not just somebody's thing. By the way, SMRP is owned by the members. It's not owned by some company. Now, I'm a member of SMRP. We hire a company that manages the business during the week, because most of us have jobs, real jobs. Then you got the Certified Maintenance and Reliability Technician certification. It's a program that's the leading accrediting program for knowledge, skills, and abilities of maintenance and reliability technicians. I have a CMRT also. When it first come out, I was embarrassed at a conference asking if I would take the certification. I said, sure. And then I asked, what's the CMRT? I took it and I got lucky. I passed it. So the CMRT certification assesses knowledge and skills of those responsible for preventative, predictive, and corrective maintenance. Multi-skilled individuals who play critical roles in successes of organizations worldwide. Then CAMA certification, Certified Asset Management Assessor Program. So the certification establishes an individual's credentials and asset management knowledge and comprehension globally. I mean, this is an international certification, or simply establish your asset management knowledge. Now, all three of these are international certifications. So it's not like there are certifications, people certified all of these all over the world. How many countries? That's a good question. I asked that question, but I don't know, a lot. So let's talk about the SMRP body of knowledge, the framework of it. So the framework for the CMRP is this map suggests, success for any maintenance and reliability professional. So here, what we have is mapping the success. This is to help individuals prepare for the exam, certified CMRT, in 8 areas, and help individuals master the 5 pillars of body of knowledge adequately prepare for the CMRP exam. So we got educational. People say, I've never been in maintenance, but I'm an engineer, or I've done this or whatever. Take the exam. Okay, take the exam. If you've got knowledge in some type of field that has to do with equipment, you won't have a problem. Well, I can't say that, but I'm just telling you, it's not that difficult from that perspective. Education, hands-on, training, many opportunities available to people outside the classroom to continue their learning. May include other certification, on-the-job training. Then career level, individuals at particular levels within their careers already possess skills that lend experience in the pillars of the body of knowledge. So a lot of things that I want to talk about, you're already doing. You already know it. And you may not know it exactly like SMRP, but I'm going to help you with that. Education, online training. There's a lot of, we're just saying this online training is a great way to learn things, whether you're doing it with, here with Upkeep and myself, or whether you're going to using, if you join SMRP, they have webinars every month free webinars. So if you're a member, you get webinars every month. I think there's 1 or 2 every month. Books and publications, suggested readings for leading professionals and thought leaders. I'm going to talk a little bit about that for this. We talk about the body of knowledge, what books you need to have. Professional conferences, going to professional conferences is part of that mapping your success. No matter which one you go to. I like going to the SMRP conferences because there's a lot of great programs in there. And one of the things you'll find when you go there is that just about everybody is a practitioner in one way or another, and most people there are CMRPs. Job projects, day-to-day life in a facility office includes oversight and execution of projects that give you an individual, practical, and real-world knowledge that can be applied to the CMRP exam. Then volunteer organizations. SMRP offers a lot of individuals become more familiar with it by taking responsibility, joining groups in the SMRP, and I'm going to talk about that. When you're a member of SMRP, join the groups, man. I mean, really, join the groups. And if you don't have one in your area, like if you're in Indonesia or you're in Brazil and you don't have a group, you can start a group. Okay, it's easy. It doesn't cost you any money. Okay, because when you get people involved, they're going to start learning. You'll start learning from them also. You can start sharing knowledge together. Now, this is the CMRP roadmap. Okay, so we got the 5 pillars: business and management. We got manufacturing process reliability. We got equipment reliability, organizational leadership, and work management. So from this, if we look at this roadmap, we got all these 5 pillars, and then we got the education part of the formal. And it talks about having mechanical, chemical, industrial, Bachelor of Science engineering degree, technical education, 2-year vocational training, BS and reliability engineering, business, degree. You don't have to have these. Okay. Most CMRPs, believe it or not, they might have a 2-year associate degree, but most of them do not. Okay. Now, are there a high percentage that are? Absolutely. There's a lot of engineers in this organization, a lot. Okay, education, hands-on training. Well, it's military career-related field. That's where I started out. Mine is a maintenance mechanic, working on heavy equipment, rebuilding with civilians. You got craft training, CMRT certification. These reliability short, courses, 3 to 5 days in length. And then the CAMA certification has to do with ISO 55000. So if you're dealing with ISO 55000 at work, I recommend you get the certification because it'll increase your knowledge dramatically. Then a university reliability diploma, a certification. And then, one of the things I talk about a lot is web-based or even on-site vendor presentation. I like vendors. So if you got a vendor that, and just the way I look at it is that if I got a vendor that I buy bearings from, let's say, I want their regional expert on bearings to come in and give my maintenance people 30-minute spiel and give them some free brochures, maybe give them some freebies, whatever that is. Okay. But maybe a box of donuts or whatever it is you like. Okay. Bring them in, let them come in and educate your people. It's a great learning experience for them. Online courses, I teach every month. I teach 1 online course every month. I love it. And it's a great way you can sit back and learn something new. I always tell people, when always the way I looked at it, when I've attended training in the past, if I walk away with learning one thing I can go back and implement, I felt like it was successful for me. It's online training with multiple courses. And then we got the SMRP Body of Knowledge webinar series. This goes on all the time. Once you're a member, you can participate in it. And then conferences, the SMRP conference is coming up now. I don't exactly know the dates, but you can look it up. It's all virtual. So be a great conference no matter where you live in the world. So you got maintenance and reliability conferences, you got the SMRP annual conference, and then you got chapter conferences. So there are chapter conferences or chapters, SMRP chapters, made up of people like us, you and me, that are SMRP members. Some of them are CMRP, some of them are not because they haven't taken the CMRP or maybe they didn't pass it the first time. Okay. So they're in these groups and you learn from each other. And every month you get together and you might find somebody in there that says, hey, sound like you know a lot more about the CMRP than me. Can you help me a little bit here? And you'd be surprised. All people in the SMRP will help you. So the roadmap continues, career, whether you're a maintenance craft supervisor, maintenance engineer, reliability engineer, technical manager, process engineer, consultant, maintenance manager, and then you got books, publications. This is part of the CMRP roadmap. You got Maintenance Strategy by Anthony Kelly, Toyota Way to 14 Principles from the world's greatest manufacturer, Duran's Quality Handbook, Maintenance and Reliability Best Practices. This book here is one you really going to have to, if you're going to take the CMRP, you need to go ahead and buy the book, okay? And then the Gateway to World-Class Manufacturing by Richard, Schoenberger, Gateway to World-Class Maintenance by Anthony Smith. And I tell you what, he's a great guy. Making Common Sense, Common Practice, Ron Moore, another great one. Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Successfully Installing TPM in a Non-Japanese Plant by Edward Hartman. CMMS by Terry Wireman, great book. Planning and Scheduling, okay, the first 3 chapters. Reason they're saying this, these are books you're probably going to want to buy to take the CMRP and study. Maintenance Planning and Scheduling by Doc Palmer, the first 3 chapters. Projects, Reliability Improvement, Machinery Design, TPM Project. These are things you don't have to be an expert, just understand some about it. Parts Optimization, preventive maintenance, creation and optimization, storeroom projects, lean projects, Six Sigma project. Now you say, oh my gosh, man, I got to learn all this. No, you don't. The chance of passing the exam has to do with a few things. The exam has to do with the difficulty of the question, in other words, with the complexity of the question. If it has more than so many verbs and nouns and so on, what is a lengthy sentence or it's a short one, And the other thing has to do with how many people have answered that question in the past. So it's how difficult the question is. And so there's an algorithm that comes out, prints out where you pass or fail, okay? So root cause analysis, business case development, volunteer organizations. I'd recommend you volunteer, SMRP chapter, committees, and if you go to the American Society of Mechanical Engineers, professional society participation, paper presentation. The more you present a paper, the more you learn, okay? Because you got to get in and dive in to find the information. College internship, in reliability field, and again, speaking at conferences. So these are the 5 pillars, all this stuff we talked about, okay? This is the guide to this is the design of the roadmap, okay? So we got business and management. We got manufacturing process reliability. We got equipment reliability. We got organization and leadership and work management. That's the 5 pillars. So on pillar 1, business and management talks about if you become a member of SMRP and you download the body of knowledge, these are the things that you see. Okay, the 5 pillars. So number 1, business and management. Create strategic direction and plan for maintenance and reliability operation, okay? Administer strategic plan, measure performance. So what do you think measure performance you're going to see? You're going to see metrics, okay? Organizational changes, how does that work? Communication with stakeholders. And then pillar 1, you actually have a metrics appendix that's assigned just to that one section. I would learn those metrics in that area, and those metrics may be used in other, body of knowledge, categories, but I would look at every one of them and look at how to compare the metrics, their definitions, how you measure them to each one of the words they use in there. Okay. So then we look at all of these. So maintenance, so the business and management, maintenance and reliability leaders create a vision and mission as well as strategic plan. So you got to have the vision first. Okay, that's the big thing. With the vision, you need to have the mission, and then you put the plan together to guide implementation of appropriate maintenance and reliability system and processes in order to achieve the organizational business goal. It's all about the organizational business goal. That's why I tell people it's all about process reliability. Strategic plan provides a clear purpose, the best demonstrated business need. Okay, what do we need? Define the goals and in turn the benefits to the organization. This is the high level strategic plan. Goals should be clear. I would say this: measurable and established in a top-down cascading manner. What's the top one? If it's process reliability, if it's an OEE or whatever, that may be your top one. It could be cost. I don't know. It's a way different organizations work different ways. Maintenance and reliability utilize their knowledge and industry benchmarks just to assist in establishing these goals. So we use industry benchmarks. I talked about world-class maintenance. World-class maintenance, Alcoa, Mount Holly, this is still used. Their measurements today are still used to benchmark against. And there are many other organizations too. There's a lot of organizations you can benchmark against. Okay. So, establish these goals, provide a measurement system, and determine the gaps in the maintenance and reliability process. So when I measure where do I want to be and where am I, then if I know those gaps, then I can determine how I'm going to get there and what information I need to have to get there. It's important for operations, maintenance, and other involved disciplines to agree on the goals and the measures used to quantify them. And equally important to understand of everyone's role in strategic plan and responsibilities they have. That's why I like the RACI model. You never heard of the RACI model? You can type in RACI, Ricky Smith, and you'll get overwhelmed with them. Because I believe you got to define those roles and responsibilities. Very important. Routine review and discussion of progress will provide team commitment and allow for periodic adjustments to the plan. So it's all about adjusting the plan as needed or as required. So, and the subject area relates to maintenance and reliability activities to ensure manufacturing and production process of the organization, to ensure the maintenance and reliability activities improve the manufacturing of production process. So the subject requires an understanding of applicable processes. Of course, document process flow, process parameters, quality specification, process risk, operating procedures. All of those we got to have. Complete understanding of process that influence the performance and safety across all disciplines. Safety is in everything with the body of knowledge, okay? So performance and safety is a direct correlation in that too, between reliability and safety. If you got a reliable organization, you have a safe organization. So this influences the performance and safety across all disciplines and at all levels of the organization can provide tremendous benefit. They all have to be aligned. That's back to those roles, responsibilities. The ability to react appropriately to changing conditions in the process allows for real-time process control and optimization. This ability to react to changes applies not only to one's direct function, but also to the effects on the total process. So if you're in maintenance, as things change, conditions change, whatever that, it could be conditions because of the process. It could be done because of the economy, like it is right now. We have to be able to change accordingly. The process understanding includes how to start up, operate, shut down. This is a manufacturing process reliability, not maintenance. And analyzing troubleshooting also includes methods for communicating and documenting continuous improvement activities in operation, maintenance, quality, and safety. And then clearly define the standard operating procedure and flow diagrams of processes are helpful tools that communicating and documenting the desired performance. All of this is the body of knowledge that comes from when you download the body of knowledge, if you become a member, download the body of knowledge, all these come directly from that. So manufacturing process reliability. So the subject area describes two activities. They concern the equipment and processes for which maintenance and reliability professional is accountable. Okay, the first kind is used to assess the current capabilities of equipment process in terms of reliability, availability, maintainability, and criticality. It's surprising to me how many companies don't even have criticality. It's amazing. So asset criticality, defect severity, how do you plan and schedule if you don't have that effectively? I don't know. Second kind is used to select and apply the most appropriate maintenance practices. So the equipment and processes continue to deliver their intended capabilities in the safest and most cost-effective manner. Then number 4, organization and leadership. Okay. So this subject describes processes for assuring that the maintenance and reliability staff is well qualified and assigned to achieve the maintenance and reliability goal. That includes skills, which is the CMRT. You notice on the left, that's actually a skills assessment. that I performed at a company. It wasn't in Charleston, South Carolina. It was at a wood products plant. But we assess written, and then we assess hands-on and identification. And I'll tell you, from that, all we did was develop a skills training with a local technical college to be able to close that gap for them. It's a great tool to use. So if we look at this, if maintenance and reliability staff are qualified, that means that our maintenance leadership are CMRPs, and maybe some of our technicians are too. Our technicians are CMRTs. And then we talk about certified asset management assessor. I think that's a great one to have at least one person in a plant. That is a camel. Okay. So work management, the persons who identify maintenance requirements, work management for Pillar 5, identifies maintenance requirements, need to know types of actions that should be taken and when they should be taken from a technical standpoint. So capabilities to assess the business justification for the maintenance plan and develop data support systems are also important. So when you look at this, assess the business justification for the maintenance plan. So the business it's all about production. So if production says we have to run this rate, we need to run it for this duration with this few problems and interruptions, like with OEE, then what we have to do is have a maintenance plan to support it. And we need to have data support systems like a CMMS or EAM to support that. The ability to manage work, maintain the appropriate backlog, minimize overdue work if necessary. What do you think's in here? Planning and scheduling. Planning and scheduling. Maintenance planning and scheduling, critical. Maintenance professionals need to understand the inputs to work identification, phase of planned work process. Need to understand, what does it take? What do we need to do? So what is work identification? What's in work identification? Where does work come from? Work comes from preventive maintenance, our inspections that we find for preventive maintenance, predictive maintenance. It comes from that. And it comes from what? It comes from request, okay? But most of our work should come from preventive maintenance and predictive maintenance. And this is what this pillar is all about. It talks about the planning process. That's where our work comes from. Planning and scheduling, reliability, supply chain management, all dependent upon the early identification of work to be successful. That's back to that preventive maintenance inspection and predictive maintenance. And operator care, I throw in that into it too, because I think it's important to have operator care involved. So these are some resources if you plan to take the CMRP. Okay, one must have knowledge concerning the following: known maintenance and reliability best practices. Known, okay, not what someone thinks, what they are. Okay, SMRP body of knowledge. SMRP membership is required. This is what you need to download. So what I recommend you do is become a member, download a SMRP body of knowledge, take these slides and start looking at those things and go through it and think in your mind, how can I use them to advance my organization, take it to the next level? And I tell you, I have to say, I'd say close to 100% of the companies that we've gone through this, we've taken the body of knowledge and actually implemented it in the organization, been greatly successful. SMRP metrics definition, it's required. You need to understand the definitions and how they're measured. I think it's important for you to know that. SMRP best practice is another document. They're free to all members. Just best practices, and a lot of what you see above, the body of knowledge and the metrics flow into the best practices, but it's just another document free that you can use, okay? And then the SMRP global maintenance reliability indicators. I think you're getting enough of these documents, right? A lot of this stuff, if you look on the right side, the CMRP recommended study materials, you got the SMRP, you got some stuff that's free on the internet, and so on. So there's a lot of information. The global forum on management of asset management landscape, I think that's important. The IAM, okay, that's the Institute of Asset Management Competency Framework. You really need to look at, there's a circle, if you look on the right, you can see this free on the internet, and you see it's got like an oval circle there. You need to understand those elements. Engineering reliability fault trees and reliability block diagrams by Harry Quanti. I tell you, don't take the test without knowing this. Okay, and it's free on the internet. ADCAR, a model for change of business, government, and our community. Now, where do you get that at? I think you're going to have to buy that one. Okay, sorry. So for more information, help with the CMRP exam, I got a lot of this information on it. These documents, they're not the SMRP documents, but the other ones are free on my website. And I've also got on there I've got a toolbox talk on CMRP recommendations too. So if you plan to take the CMRP exam, these are my recommendations, not SMRP. Step one, download. You can download this now. Membership's not required. CMRP Candidate Guide for Certification Recertification is free. Download it. Download it tonight or today, depends on where you are in the world. Join SMRP, the next step. 3, go to my website and download these documents. You don't have to put an email address to download anything. I don't care who's been in my website. You go in there, take what you want, and leave the rest, okay? Not a problem. Join one of the SMRP chapters or special interest groups and participate. Meet others and learn from each other. Ask others, So what do you think I need to know about the CMRP? And there are people in there that can help you with that. They'll study with you too. Study with you online, however that needs to be. Okay. Well, step 3, I see I got it twice. Sorry about that. Step 4, purchase and study. This is not optional, okay? Purchase and Study Maintenance Best Practices by Ramesh Gulati. Now, I helped him write that book. We just had a difference of opinion on some things. So I just said, he just put his name on it, but it's a great book. I don't get any money from it. Okay. But I can tell you, there's a lot of test questions in there, and you will see a lot of similar questions on the SMRP. Maybe not exactly the same ones, but it'll help you understand how to take the test. So I think there's like 300 questions in his book. And the thing is, each group of questions are associated to a chapter in his book, which makes it easy to go there and say, okay, now I got to figure out, I missed these. I go to that chapter in the book and find it out. I recommend you buy a hard copy. You can buy it, in the PDF also, but it's not PDF. You got to download it in some software program. I don't care for that. I like PDF, but I don't like it when I got to go to another software to open it. And then Maintenance Planning and Scheduling by Doc Palmer. I can tell you, you're going to have to know it. Okay. Not an option. I don't think you might be able to get, no, you can't get the PDF planning and scheduling. You have to buy a hard copy. Take the practice exam. Like I said before, on the Maintenance Best Practice by Ramesh Gulati. Focus on the questions you miss on the exam and go to the chapters where the questions are from and study. Big deal. Download and study these documents I mentioned before. Global Form Management, Asset Management, Landscape, IAM, Competency Framework, Engineering Fault Trees, Reliability Block Diagrams. These things you can download on my website. Learn what is ADCAR Model for Change, okay? You need to know that. Download and study from the following website, okay? I mentioned this, okay? So now you've already joined it, right? So if you're a member, download a body of knowledge, SMRP metrics, SMRP best practices, global maintenance reliability indicators. Join the Slack group. This is important. I tell you, I didn't even know what Slack was. Slack sounds like to me that we're just going to be hanging out, But Slack group is a group of maintenance professionals, and there's one area in there. It's called a certification group. And in the Slack group, there's a certification section in there. So if you got questions about the CMRP or CMRT or whatever, go in there. Somebody will answer the question. Somebody will help you. I guarantee it. They're going to be CMRPs, all of them. Okay. So join the Slack group. Like I say, look for it. Ask any question you want concerning the CMRP. All right. If you plan to take the CMRT, I recommend, or your technicians, download the CMRT, guide to certification, recertification, free. Review all 4 domains: purchase, industrial machinery repair. Okay, that's a good one by me and Keith Mobley. Sorry, man, I don't like to, push people to buy my book, but it does help when you go take it. Okay, take the exam. You really need to know best maintenance repair practices or best technician practices. You really need to know that. Take the exam in the book, and then in my book, you'll find test questions in there. In fact, I wrote 30 questions recently on the CMRT exam, and they all came from my book. But that's the same thing Ramesh said, and that's why they have the books that you can study on. Try to align everybody's thinking, okay? And then identify the areas you may be weak and study you know, and then retest if needed. So questions, anybody? Open up for questions. What questions we got?
Hello, I'm back. I saw a couple questions come through during the presentation, but please feel free to add some more questions into the chat now as you're thinking of them. Thank you so much, Ricky, for that awesome presentation. A ton of great resources for further learning and great tips in there as well for anyone interested in taking the exam. One question I came through, I'm wondering if you know the answer. We have an attendee tuning in from Brazil, and as far as he knows, he or she, excuse me, knows the certification is not so famous in Brazil, and it would be a different title. Do you know of any people from Brazil who look at the CMRP certification, or just not specific?
Let me look real quick.
Yeah, no worries.
Yes, there are. 1, 2, 3. I'm not connected with any of them, but yeah, there's a good number in Brazil.
Awesome.
In fact, I used to have an office in Brazil, Belo Horizonte, many years ago, for my company, doing training over there.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, hopefully that helps answer that question.
Yeah, one of the things you can do too, if these people that, SMRP will help you get with these people, find them, okay, connect you with them. And then what you do is set up like in Brazil, set you up a CMRP study group, because some of these people are CMRPs, so they can help you. Set up a study group, and if you need help, ask Heather, okay? Maybe she can work out something to help you with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Another question in the chat here is there a difference between the SMRP metrics definitions in terms of the different editions? Between like the 2nd edition versus the 3rd edition, for example?
Not much, no.
That's good.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. If they change any, it'd be very minor. You wouldn't know the difference if you took the exam.
Perfect. Another question here is, could you give an example for some of the SMRP chapters of special interest groups and how to participate?
Sure. Man, I should have put those on there. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
They're called a SIG, okay? Special interest group, shared interest groups, okay? All right. There's condition-based maintenance, mining, oil, gas, and petrochemical. I'm the one that started that special interest group. Pharmaceutical and biotech, reliability analytics, and utilities. So those are the 6, okay? And chapters, they're, in the United States, Alabama, Allegheny, Appalachian, Arizona, Carolina, Chicagoland, Rocky Mountain, East Tennessee, Florida, Georgia, Northern Kentucky, Houston, Indiana, Kansas City, Middle Tennessee, Nebraska, Iowa, North Texas, Ontario, Southeast Virginia, South Central, Trinidad, Wichita, Wisconsin. You can set up a chapter. And if you want to set up one like in Brazil or something, I'd be glad to help you set it up. It's not difficult to do that. All right.
Awesome.
All right. Hopefully that helped. That's a great point.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing is that the special interest groups are more geared towards profession or industry or,
They have people that have shared interests in not just the industry, but it could be a certain profession too.
Absolutely. Whereas then chapters are more based on location.
Yeah.
Cool.
And anybody could set up one. Like I said, the petrochemical, I set it up. I established it, but there's many of them. They're easy to set up. They're not difficult.
Awesome.
And in the SMRP, this organization that runs it, there is a member like you that's there at SMRP that can be referred to you to help you set it up.
Awesome. Ricky, how long does it typically take to prepare for the exam, for the CMRP specifically?
How long does it take you to prepare for the exam? What you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. I had to take the test. I mean, I didn't prepare for it myself, but I got lucky. But I'd say if you're going to study, I would study probably 2 to 4 hours. You know, let's just say 3 days a week for a couple months. All right. Um, don't don't uh, don't try to rush it at one time because you won't retain the information. The whole reason why one of my degrees is in trades and industrial education. So one of the things I learned in that, and I thought it was crazy getting a degree in that, but I learned a lot. One of the things, if you're going to retain something, you got to learn it repeatedly, but also over a long term. Not like, okay, I read the book, I'm ready for the test. You know, some people can do that, but most people can't. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That answer your question? Yes or no?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, we've had a few members on my team take the exam as well, and they've all typically prepared for a few months, studying a few hours, 4 to 6 hours a week, probably. Similar materials to what you're discussing here, Ricky, and
those books I showed you are the big ones to help you.
Yeah.
And if you got a class you can take, I've got one coming up, maintenance best practice and SMRP body of knowledge coming up, and gosh, what is it, May or something like that? April or May? I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it's April.
I think it's
when
April.
It is.
Awesome.
By the way, excuse me, in that class, everybody gets a copy of the book from Ramesh Galati. If you don't have it, because you're going to need it in the class.
Yeah. The information on that class will be coming out probably next month.
Yeah.
Cool. Ricky, is there any Canadian equivalent for the CMRP? Sometimes this attendee prefers local certification over international.
Oh, man, send me an email, and I'll get you connected with a friend of mine up there. She's a CMRP, but she's also involved in a Canadian organization on maintenance and reliability. But I can't think of it right off the top of my hand. But I can connect you with her.
Awesome. I saw one more question. What are some of the standard failure modes in the CMRP?
The standard failure modes in the CMRP?
Yes.
Failure modes, how something fails. How you going to fail the test? That what you're saying?
I don't know, actually. It might be that, or it might be some of the standard failure modes found on the test.
No, they don't have the standard failure modes on there. If they do, it would surprise me. You might find the common failure modes on certain equipment could be on the CMRT exam. I don't remember because it's been so long since I've taken it, but you might find that on the CMRT. But I just don't remember it being on the CMRP.
Awesome.
Doesn't hurt to know, though. Doesn't hurt to know.
That's probably something that'll be covered in some of those resources that you're sharing, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Especially in the technician class. Best maintenance technician training. That one and preventive maintenance. You'll learn a lot about that topic.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. I'll give us just one more second for any final questions. I think I see someone typing, so I'll just a thank you. I was going to pause there, but I think we can leave it there for today and wrap up. Thank you so much, Ricky, for sharing all of your knowledge. As we see on the screen, here's Ricky's contact information for follow-up on any of these questions or any other questions that may come up along your CMRP certification journey. We also invite you to join us in the maintenance Slack community once again. Some great resources and great CMRP certified people in there as well to lean on for more information.
So you can download these slides on worldclassmaintenance.org. Go to my Facebook page on worldclassmaintenance.org. You'll get quite a bit of information out of that too. Usually when I'm posting on LinkedIn, I focus on Facebook, and also typically whatever that is, it's going to be on my website too.
Wonderful. All right. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week for our presentation next time.
Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.
Thank you. Have a good day.